Welcome back, ladies, gentlemen, and our NB folk to some Dota 2 action here in the lower division of the South American DPC. We are in for the finale. Game 3, we all love Game 3. Nobody likes a 2-0 stomp. So now we're going to be seeing how Gorillaz Pride fare against our way, the Wolves team, to see which one of these two teams gets enough of a victory, enough of a good draft to advance potentially into Division 1. And Kips, with things being so close to the wire right now, just without even seeing anything before a draft, right? Normally I ask you this question out at the end of a draft once you have some information, but no hedging. Who you got? Who do you think is going to take this 2-1?
As much as our way has the names, Gorillaz Pride has the ambition right now. I have been loving Nao's play as a carry throughout the series, doing everything possible to drag these games over the finish line. And that's just a kind of attitude I like to root for. So give me Gorillaz Pride.
All right, Gorillaz Pride, you just have to make sure you give us a good draft. So let's see what you got. And they started off by stealing the Snapfire and also taking the Beastmaster. Normally when we see Snap Opener, we sometimes see the Tidehunter paired with it. But of course, in this series, Tidehunter will never emerge again. Already banned out in the opening 2 by the side of our way, the Wolves team. They go for a response pick of Magnus Dark Willow. So there's not going to be any Snapfire Dark Willow combos, no Magnus Snap combos. But I very rarely see Snapfire Beastmaster as a duo together. At the same time, I also rarely see Magnus Dark Willow. So talk to us about the ideas behind the way that they've opened up their drafts right now with these two teams.
Our way has decided that farm is their way. So this Magnus opener actually makes a lot of sense for them. Whatever they're going to get here, it's going to get empowered by this Magnus to farm to its heart's content, and that is what HFN is absolutely best at. So they're leaning on their strengths here. And as for Gorillaz Pride, Snapfire Beastmaster, as much as you don't very often see them directly together, because it's usually one or the other is banned out or there's another good reason not to take it, you do have a fantastic setup for a physical damage hero to take advantage of this attack speed, of this extra mobility, and of course of the Snapfire's minus armor as well. So this is a pretty great setup for both sides actually to empower the kind of carry player that they have. Our way for a farming carry, Gorillaz Pride, a ganking fighting carry.
Absolutely. And you definitely love to see the differing philosophies about how to open the drafts here for these teams. For our way, they're banning out now in the second phase. I mean, we saw 8 carry bans in game 2. How many we got now? 1, 2, 3, 4. Still a lot of time left for both teams, but it does seem to be that they've both identified that that's where they really want to put pressure on the enemy team, and that's how both teams have been winning. Well, last game, of course, Tavo was just an absolute beast on his Timbersaw, but definitely enabled his team more so than anything. We'll see what the direction is. Is this Magnus going offlane for them, or is this rather going to be 40R Magnus? Or is it that situation where they themselves don't know just yet until they see the rest of the draft unfold?
They probably don't know quite yet, but I do imagine that it's going to be Tavo. It's a little bit less his style than a hero that can just walk up and stand there and go, what you gonna do? These jumping carries, carries offlaners don't always work out for him. So I'd like to see it paired with something else that can frontline for him instead, so that at the very least he has the vision. You don't have to blind jump as one of those things that doesn't work out for him very well normally. Like, imagine that this is a Nature's Prophet player in the end, all right? Yeah. That's the kind of guy we're dealing with.
Big farmer. It needs big safety. Give me vision. What is still available to help them with vision? Hoodwink's still in this game. They can pick Tree. We just saw them play King RD, Monkey King. A potential... I mean, Disruptor doesn't give you that much vision, but Thunderstrike's still a decent enough spell. And of course, we just need good warding around the map from Duster. They could also decide to go back to what they did in game number 2 and pick Ogre. Then they have the double buff up for the carry they want to pick for HFN. Could be pretty obscene, and it might be the conversation they're having with themselves right now about what to go in for. I mean, you always want to be picking a support in this phase. If you do have second pick, you really hate to reveal a core hero into the blind double pick before you have a little bit more information.
I really like the idea of the Duster Tree and Protector until I realized that there's already a Beastmaster on the field and you just don't actually get to be a tree in this game, or at least not in your lane. And it also feels pretty bad to then afterwards have to defend your towers with. You usually have one level in the armor, right? And a Beastmaster does not care very much about that.
Yep, not at all. He's like, whatever. They will actually take the Dawnbreaker. So taking some ideas from what Genek did in game 2, this gives them some additional sustain. We saw the pressure that this can put into the laning phase as well. And of course, this could still lead into them deciding that whatever HFN plays, they want to keep that hero as strong as possible in the midst of the fight. Now we have Solar Guardian going and Terrorize. It's a lot of defensive prowess around one particular area of the fight. But does feel like it's a very level dependent draft right now on the side of the Wolf team. So it does really feel like they need to be certain that they're going to win out these lanes. Otherwise, they just run into trouble in the mid game, playing catch up effectively against G Pride.
Yep, they would absolutely love for these lanes to go well. And Gorillaz Pride here picking up a very strong laning support, actually. Also, more minus armor with the Geminate attack. And of course, later on, you're going to have the power of the Aghanim Scepter onto whichever carry you desire. And with how hard Now seems to like to go in on these heroes sometimes, that's probably really going to suit his style as well.
Yeah. Still have now as well the option for... Oh, we don't. Sap was banned. Medusa gone. You know, the best combo with this Weaver is taken away. So what other ones? We've seen Dra with this hero. Lina, fairly decent hero for Tau in this mid lane. Another hero that can also transition much into a right clicker. We saw that in game 1. Obviously didn't go that well for 40R, but we just imagine in that game if he had backup of Weaver and then they still get that right click output with the time lapse back on the Aghanim Scepter. It's quite a lot, especially with this Beastmaster also buffing up the Lina. She's going to be a massive turret in this game, it feels like in a Beast Aura, Fury Soul with Little Shredder from Snapfire. I would hate to be on the receiving end of this Lina right clicks in this game.
Absolutely, but isn't it funny how Gorillaz Pride lineup now mirrors the first lineup that Arway had?
They're learning from each other. They're like, oh, that's a good idea. Let's try that. Hey. You know, and we even see that for the side of Arway. Wolf team, game 1, they didn't have that much team fight, but now they're like, hey, you know, purges, lots of team fight, easy ultimates. Yeah, let's try that ourselves. Let's go. Let's try and make that happen.
And with that Legion Commander now on the board, this Magnus is going either into a higher priority as possibly a mid or even the carry pick. I think I've seen HFN do that before, it's about a year ago, I think, but I am not opposed to carry Magnus at all. And now we have this Legion Commander, great catch for, well, skittering little bugs like the Weaver, or to lock down his Lina, make sure that she can't actually use all of her spells to buff herself up and turret somebody down. It's just like, no, you fight me now.
Yep.
No Fiery Soul for you.
And you also love having the ability to have any kind of offlaner that can sustain themselves in a lane versus Weaver, or even Snapfire +1. You always want to have that reliability, otherwise you can't get ran out in these situations. Love to see it. Big lockdown. Purge as well, so useful against the Primal Roar of this Beastmaster. So G Pride have a much harder time initiating their engagements. Okay. This also does mean that for the side of G Pride, the last hero that they pick up here needs to be able to lane well against LC. It can't be a hero that just gets ran out in that situation, because that lane of LC Dawnbreaker feels really, really scary. Unless they want to shift it. Where do you think they lane this? Like Dawnbreaker top? Or will Dawnbreaker... I hope she goes with the LC, but Dark Willow LC also feels quite strong. Either way, whatever they go for here in the safe lane for G Pride, they need to make 100% certain that he doesn't get ran out of this lane, because Weaver not going to be able to give you that same amount of sustain, at least not early on in the game at the very least.
I'm wondering the same as well. Now, most of the matchups that do well versus the Legion Commander, either because of their range or because they can straight up mana fight, are gone. Gorillaz Pride go for the Sven, so lots of chip damage over on this Legion, stun as well. There is a possibility for kills here if this is a Sven Snapfire lane, even though our way is pretty tanky.
Yeah, they're very, very tanky, but most of their damage as well for our way come... You know, you want a hero that can at least fight over the long duration, and the Sven can definitely do that in this game. Oof. That hurts. That hurts. That hurts.
That does hurt.
We've all been here, Kips. You know, you last picked the Sven style hero. You know, Sven, a Lifestealer, Juggernaut, whatever these kind of physical damage carries are. You're feeling good about yourself, and then the enemy picks Morphling, and you're like, oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So with this game, them having not that much lockdown, right? Because they have, let's think of the spells they have. They have Fire Snap Cookie, Primal Roar, LSA. That's the only stuns they have. Stormhammer, I'm not going to count Stormhammer versus Morphling. They have LC to dispel any of that dispel or any of those stuns. And they have the Morphling who's fairly tanky. The only burst they fully have is the Lina and some Morty's Kisses. Can they deal with the HFN Morphling, basically? Or is this a situation where the pick itself is as good as the Tavo Timbersaw was in game 2 for them?
I don't think so. You definitely think this Lina is one of the heroes that would definitely get picked into the Morphling as a counter pick. So this is not as free as a Morph game as you might think. It is, of course, very good once you get to your items. If you build your stats up, you've got a Manta Style or a Linken's, you can afford to leave some strength points up while you're farming so you don't get caught unawares by a Shadow Blading Lina. Because that's probably going to happen at some point, right? But yeah, once you're up in this game, sure, this Morphling feels good, but it's going to take a bit of time. And we have seen that Our Way doesn't mind taking their time farming. In fact, that's what they most love to have happen in these games, it seems. Yeah. So a lot of this is once again down to 4DR and Tavo buying the space for HFN. A Legion Commander here into the Sven Snapfire. This lane could go either way. 4DR is not really going to be contesting the Lina on mid, but she's also not really going to be contesting him as much. They're both going to farm really very well. This could be a close one.
Does feel like a very close one to round this off here in game 3. I mean, they have buff up as well from this Magnus, can make the Morphling stronger. Don't get the cleave in the same way, but you make him farm so quickly with the damage output. But at the same time, G-Pride, they have so many ways to set up and buff up the Sven as well. He's got minus armor from the Low Shredder. He's got the activation of Primal Roar to allow him to come in, dish out the damage in a short span of time. Has the Inner Beast Aura, has the backup of the Weaver, eventually having Ag to ensure that he survives the fight. So this will be close. This is not going to be an easy one. Yeah, sure, this Morphling. You know, I hate playing Morphling if you're going to be playing into Morphling as like a Sven, Lifestealer like mentioned before, but at the same time, you've got such a good supporting cost that it might not end up mattering. So it all comes down to this. G-Pride, you said before that they have showed that spirit, they have had that kind of swagger about them today. Let's see if they have it for the final deciding game. We're going into it. Winner of this walks away. Obviously, it's still a long league to go, but walks away feeling a lot better about the rest of their journey. For the side of Wolf Team, if they win, they will not feel so bad about losing Yarumi so early on here in the DPC. For the side of G-Pride, they'll definitely feel like their path to Division 1 is a lot easier if you can get past the team of Wolf Team, who is everybody expected to be doing a lot better than they are. So let's do it. Let's go. G-Pride, of course, starting this game here, Kips, with a very strong early aggression movement. Both sides not going to find any kills, but they both do find early D wards around this mid lane.
Yep. And this move by G-Pride is also motivated by the fact that they wanted to make very sure nobody's sneaking into the camp here over on the side. Lina not getting that sentryed up matters quite a lot for her economic progression. And over on the other side, same with saving the Magnus's camp, so no clash before the horn this time.
Seems like both teams want to make sure that this is going to be as close a game as humanly possible. So we are underway now. 4DR going to be taking on Tau in this mid lane. Lots of farm trading here, and frankly, not that much kill potential, so pretty boring. Just farm, have fun, y'all. We'll see y'all in a few minutes. Does seem like the side of Our Way. Wolf Team setting up for a similar situation as what we saw them losing to in the laning phase initially, or losing lives to at first, by bringing 3 heroes top, trying to set up for an early kill for themselves. And this Dawnbreaker hasn't revealed her positioning just yet. They're gonna go for this. Now's in trouble. Here they go. They throw up with the Silly Hammer. Bramble Maze was tossed out, but they can't get the connection. Now was ready for that. It wasn't even CSing. Was literally ready and waiting for a potential aggression coming in from the Wolf Team.
Puts his banner down and says, "High five, haven't you seen it? I got my dancing shoes on today." And there is the first blood from Genek. This is the start that G-Pride would want in this lane.
This feels so good, right? To get, you know that the enemy uses 3 heroes, so they get practically no experience from that first wave. You find first blood, and you had the numerical overload down bottom, so Kara took practically no pressure on that opening wave. Life is good. Life is really good right now for the side of G-Pride.
Life is fantastic, and Kara is going to make his way towards that Helm of Iron Will without a lot of trouble. And that's really going to help him out sustaining in this lane versus the harass of that ranged Morphling. He's gonna love life.
Top lane, Genek does end up taking a tumble here, but he's put a lot of pressure out onto Tavo. Now, can just chase forward in this lane and pick up some CS off these errant creeps. Oh, this is so nice. The range creeps, 2 of them get dragged in by this camp. Thanks, King RD. You actually helped me out with my own farm patterns. So it's the Sven, so shouting out the opponent there. The way this game is going now, though, this top lane, some CS is still going to emerge here from the Sven. They don't have the easiest time getting the full harass back, but we've seen already that everybody's willing and ready to just challenge each other, put as much harass as possible to try and win out the CS battle early on. Down bottom for HFN. I wanted to ask you this, right? So in this game, there's not enough, I don't think there's enough good spells on your team to try and go for Aghanim Scepter, but is there anybody that you, if you're playing this Morphling, who do you want to take over first in these fights? Obviously, you can go for the Lina to try and get some turret action going for yourself, but, you know, Warcry, not terrible on a hero like Morphling, nor is having access to Lil Shredder, especially as you're getting a lot stronger in the level. So what's the plan here for HFN? Or is all of them sucky and you just stick to the Morphling form the entire game?
You're definitely going to get some use out of your own team, for sure. I think especially the Dawnbreaker with her extra mobility, very nice. Or you could become the Legion Commander and get yourself a Presty attack to help out your team with. There's options here. But yeah, his priorities in this game are definitely stats into damage. And the Ags, maybe he gets one off of Roche at some point.
Free Aghanims, Duster. Taking some damage here. Selly Hammer, though, should be good enough to drag him away and prevent them being able to get the full chase down. This spell is so annoying in lane, honestly, to deal with. But Kara and the gang still getting their own farm, not really concerned. They got that Helm of Iron Will on the Beastmaster. The sustain is going to be there practically forever. You're never concerned anymore. We should probably even see Disma start to go back into the triangle and start stacking these Ancients for the Sven to farm up later. Now is not playing a hero who can play from behind. The Sven hero needs to be able to stay on the pace and oftentimes only feels effective when he's ahead of that pace himself.
Yep, and in many ways this, all that thought, Duster gets chopped down in the bottom lane. But no, in many ways, G-Pride is playing that game that HFN was in the previous one, except they don't have this absolutely game-breakingly powerful What's the name of the hero again?
The Timber.
Timbersaw, thank you. Complete brain fart. Anyway, no Timbersaw to break the game open, but still, he needs to be on top of this game, and they need to be keeping up the pressure onto G-Pride because eventually this Morphling is going to become too big to handle.
Yep. HFN, certainly a ticking time bomb in this game, so G-Pride need to handle that with care, ensure they have the necessary diffusion at the ready. Mid lane, though, we see that Tao has been having an expectedly good time on this Lina. Of course, just to even up with this Magnus right now in terms of the CS, but a lot of this is coming from camps as well for both of them. They're equivalent in the CS, but the Lina a little bit ahead in levels right now. She's just cracked the 6. The Power Rune not going to spawn for another minute, but now we do have potential for them making some kind of move. It's not going to arrive in time for any big ultimates though, so do they wait for a primal roll potentially before they try to make Lina move on the map, or do they just try and dive top and force Tavo into a poor position?
I don't think you're wanting to look for any dives here. Ideally, a Lina comes in only with a haste rune rotation or as a defensive one, making sure that somebody is diving you, you teleport the Lina in, you zap them for their troubles.
Right now, Duster, oh, okay, Fire Snap Cookie, not close enough, and HFN says, oh, well, thanks for bringing me that boar, free gold. Easily able to pick that one up. And nothing's going to be happening for this game for a little bit of time, because it does feel like both teams really insistent on trying to build up their base of farm and get their necessary items. Don't have any big rotations yet, although we have a small skirmish as we do lose Dismar down bottom. HFN getting revenge for what happened to Duster earlier. And they're just going to try and zone back Kara a little bit. But it does feel like it's going to be a fairly kill-light game for quite some time. Neither side really ready to try and make big moves. Although 40 are doing something we don't often see when we see these Magnuses played as a core. Rushing the Blink Dagger. Not going to stop over for an Echo Saber or anything. Just going straight in for that initiation.
I'm honestly very surprised to see that. I guess it was between him and Tavo, and it might just be that Tavo says, alright bro, I gotta get an armlet this game. Otherwise, I don't get to stay in these fights with the amount of damage that's going to be thrown at me. I need the armor. And the Magnus can say, fine, I guess I get the blink first. I'll skewer some fools back, but you better make up for it.
Yeah. This is...
One of them needs to take the fall.
Unfortunately, there's only so many resources on the map in Dota 2, so can't get everything. Somebody has to tank the L. And I really like that they are doing this, though. We've seen teams also get into this very greedy pattern of, well, mid-Magnus buys Echo Saber, and you just rush that without taking into account the larger context of the game. Then you just find yourself like in that position where you have damage and some survivability, but you have no way to start fights. You have no jump, you have no catch. So I'm glad that somebody's taking that L. And we'll probably still see Tavo coming back for Blink Dagger after he finishes Armlet. Might even stop over for BKB first, but yeah, Blink is certainly going to be on the cards.
And talking about Tavo, he's been having himself a fantastic time as well, especially because he's kept now down quite a bit. This Sven just about ahead of him in the net worth right now, but this is not where he wants to be CS-wise.
Yeah. Sven definitely wants to be further ahead, being outstripped by both Morphling and Magnus right now. And because they haven't had as much time to go stack into the jungle, needing to attend to the aggression in the top side of the map, that does mean that now, once he does start leaving this top lane, doesn't have easy places to go back to and just get free gold. To be fair, the same is also true on the other side. There's only this one hard camp stacked up for the Morphling, but Morphling definitely mines less and will still have help from the Magnus in a way that the Sven won't get. You already have Cleaver Sven, it's nice, but you don't have that bonus damage that comes in for free effectively. So we'll be slower to get going than this Morphling, which is problematic because Morphling, normally the dynamic is reversed, right? That Morphling has a bit of a slower start and then catches up and outstrips you. It's a lot harder of a game if this is how it's going from the jump right now for the Sven.
Yep. At the very least, he has an offlaner that is not going to be looking for items really first. Skyride is just going to stay here until he has this Helm of the Dominator, and then he's going to walk down the tower. And there's no need to take any engagements, no need to jump anybody, get your vision. You know, you walk at towers with this Beastmaster.
Yeah.
That's going to provide a lot of natural momentum that they don't have to sit around and wait for, really. He's rushing that thing. It's nearly there.
Almost got it. Should have it very, very soon. And at that point, also, HFN he'll be dipping into the jungle soon anyway, but the lane becomes annoying enough that it becomes a necessity. Making good progress, though, on his own itemization. And I wonder if at some point in this game, we will see Genek, or rather, I wonder how soon we see the Aghanim Scepter. Because of late, what I've been seeing from these support weavers is Earn, Spirit Vessel, but instead of just Ags Rush, I've been seeing a lot of Orchids lately, Kips. So I wonder if that's going to be the option here, considering that there are some decent Orchid targets on the other side. You know, we know that the BKBs will come, but they're going to be somewhat delayed, so you might decide to go for that option. Or do you think in this game that the priority of Aghanim Scepter is just too high, given what the opposition looks like?
I think the Axe is pretty high priority. You could think about some other items here as well. We've also seen Medallion, for example. I think Orchid in this game also feels a little bit worse because you don't have that much extra magical damage from your own team to really take advantage of it. It's not just about its silence, it's also about who you're empowering with that pickup. And G-Pride, apart from the Lina, doesn't really provide any of that sort. So yeah, I think that Earn into Ags is my expected one right now. And the Ags especially here to save the Lina.
Lina will certainly need that salvation. Tao going for the usual build-up if we're talking about item builds. Looks like it's going to be bots, BKB. Maybe not actually BKB, right? Feels a bit awkward to buy BKB this game. You still have to worry about duel. You have to worry about RP. There's so much right-click damage from the Smurfling. I mean, you are going to be definitely annoyed by what King RD is going to be bringing to the table, but is this even a BKB game for this Lina? Or does she go like a similar build to what we saw happening earlier? Just go bots into Silver Edge and then think about BKB afterwards?
Certainly going to be very tempting for Tao. I'm thinking about it here as well. The Shadowblade, if you have some, the problem is that they don't have a natural frontliner. If you have a natural frontliner and you have an SB, you can just work around that person. But right now, Beastmaster, as much as he's like a big, strong offlaner, he's not exactly the guy who wants to stand and deliver in the middle either. So there's going to be this awkward window where G-Pride, if they build the Shadow Blade on Lina, don't really want to take any direct fights and just want to be ganking people. Because 5 versus 5, they're not actually going to hold up without the BKB on the Lina.
Unpause is going to be coming soon, so we'll see what the option is going to be from Tao. As you know, for the small fling in this lane, if he gets free ags this game, of course, it's also going to be quite nice to have the Dark Willow combo. But mostly, like you said, it's going to be all about the stats for HFN. As we just keep farming. Nothing's going to happen here. Not expecting any rotations anytime soon. Unless we do get that haste rune, like you said, for Tao, but doesn't seem like it's the case right now. But they're fighting as they find Genek trying to be aggressive and steal. He gets RP'd here. Sakuchi's away. Will he be able to survive this? He does. Okay, that's nice. Force out an RP.
RP done, boys.
You survive, and all right, everybody, just farm up, have fun, enjoy the game, enjoy life. I've made life a lot easier for everybody. There's nothing going to be coming from the Magnus anytime soon.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what Tal wanted to hear. He even throws a completely random Dragon Slave the way of the Magnus just because he wanted to hit him. It's not gonna do anything. It's just like, I know you're right there, and I know you don't have an RP.
Lol.
Screw you.
It's a celebratory Dragon Slave. Sometimes you have to let the opponent know, yeah, I know what's up. You know, you can't do anything about this. Actually goes in and kills King RD. Heads up in this mid lane. Laguna into Dragon Slave. And again, he's allowed to run right up into the tower because he knows, what are they going to do? RP me? Can't do that. Sorry, it's down.
Yeah, like the only support that was free to rotate out of its lane was there, and now it's dead. Dawnbreaker is not going to come in anytime soon. She's low. She's got a Morphling to take care of. They have a tower to defend now that the Helm of the Dominator is up. So yeah, she's free to do as she pleases in the mid lane. Excellent.
Life is good. Life is nice. Life is going to stop being nice for HFN though, as like you mentioned, they have this push potential coming in from Kara. It is time to leave, and HFN has caught the memo, heads to the top lane. It's like, I'm out. Tavo is leading this charge onto the tier 1 tower. With level 7 at the ready, any target that gets dueled with this Morphling being nearby probably does die, but Genek is not going to be that target. It's a Weaver after all. So they're just going to prioritize putting out the pressure onto the tier 1 tower. And in the event that G-Pride are thinking about making a defensive maneuver, Duster's also moving up top just to make sure that they have the numbers necessary to secure the tier 1 tower. But the sucky thing about this is that G-Pride can do the same thing for far fewer resources, right? With this Helm of the Dominator, they can make this push happen without having to commit 3 heroes. Make sure that they keep the map spread out. Tao is still going to be putting pressure on middle. There's no support coming in for 40 yards, so you can keep doing this. And they know for a fact that Wolf Team are not going to be able to take the top tower quickly, so there's no punish that's going to emerge in seconds on the map right now for them.
Yep. That loss of the RP also meant a loss of the ability to defend the bottom tower for 40R. Oh, Lina's got the Tumbler Stoy. That comes in very handy if you're going to be pulled back by the shockwaves.
Yep. And for a hero as fast as she is, just having that little bit of added repositioning makes a huge difference. So Tao, we might even see them decide to make something happen off the back of this. They still need a better rune though. One might spawn in the next couple of seconds. We'll see what they find for themselves. And in the top lane, look where Now is, right behind HFN. Trying to go in with the Stormhammer. Here we go. Stormhammer, LSA. Do they have the damage? Of course they do. Morphling, a bye, down for the count. Eviscerated by this Lina. And Tao, of course, Tao's gonna throw in the tips.
You better. Yep. That's the BOTs for you. I mean, that's where the rune really doesn't matter anymore. You can now go into any lane that you please, and Tao says, you know, even if I can get jeweled this game, even if I can get RP this game, at the very least, I'm not gonna die during that if I just pop my BKB. Yep. He buys the Ogre Axe and plays it safe.
Safety first is gonna be emerging here for this Lina. And 40R, because the Blink Dagger is about to come soon, it is definitely a safety first thing because you're going to get jumped in the next 2 minutes or so, maybe even 3. So it's a good thing to have that. You're not going to have the BKB at that point, but you at least have the Ogre Axe for the little bit of extra HP that might make all the difference in the world between you dying and you living. So good to see from this Lina. At the same time, still good to see that 40R, despite that mishap earlier, still committed to buying the Blink Dagger. A lot of players might have been like, well, we don't have RP anyway, let me buy Echo Saber. But he's like, nah, I'm still going to commit to this, you know. But they're going double Blink, interestingly enough. They didn't really go for the armlet first for Tavo. He's just got Soul Ring and he's instantly going to go for the Blink. So they want to overload on the initiation early on in this game.
He nearly accidentally killed the bird there as well. The hawk flew by as he threw the overwhelming odds into the camp. I wonder if Kara's now like, man, is there a sentry there? Roar?
Roar is out, but here 40
Yes,
they're coming to the top lane. They were looking for this RP. At the same time, down bottom, Kara manages to get the kill out onto Tavo. Okay, so that is a kill with Primal Roar, Morty's Kisses, tier 2 suddenly under siege. They didn't get the reveal they wanted top with the Blink Dagger from 40R. Lina ends up surviving there. And sure, they don't get the kill onto King RD, but Genex chased them so far away that they can't play in that top lane anymore. Feels like G-Pride, these last like 45 seconds have been really, really good for them on the map. And they still might put pressure onto this tier 2. So there's still potential for them to have a pre-20 minute tier 2 tower. And that means pre-20 minute outpost on this bottom lane for them.
And Tavo has to be parked down here now. The overwhelming odds is really the only thing that can keep this army of animals at bay. But he stands at risk with all of the stuns that can be thrown at him. So yeah, he has to hug this tower. And that leaves space now for the Dire to rotate onto this mid tower. It is so low.
Tau really wants to be able to go in and right click that. They have a small amount of Beastmaster minions. Just opening up some space, getting the right clicks. 40R finds the jump. There's going to be the blink reveal with the RP, but Tau stays alive. Will be able to escape here. Curse Crown will stun him up at the Bedlam. Not enough damage from King RD. And in fact, now suddenly the Dark Willow is in danger. The right clicks will emerge from Tau. And they do find that kill. HFN on the other side of things gets caught by the Stormhammer. And let's say as well, do they have the burst? They do not. Thus, they're also assisting with the Solar Guardian.
They might still.
But they're minusing away this armor from HFN, forcing him to wait for one to the high ground. Tumblr's Toy plus the usage of the Fire Snap Cookie. They're chasing. They really want this. Genek also got out the Urn of Shadows. So there's no easy regen for the Morph. He'll end up taking a tumble. On the far side of the fight, Tavo dies too. And the tips fly in from G-Pride. 4 heroes will fall. They only lose the Snapfire. What a fight. And that came after the Blink RP.
It did. That Alina, Ogreax, man, that extra strength, extra HP, definitely making a big difference for her there. Gets the turn and burn. And after that, HFN, he has to start morphing from such high agi.
Yeah.
It takes forever to chase him down, but still he is so far away from his team as well that they don't get to back him up anymore. And that split fight, the Sven just gets to chop everybody down one by one.
Yep. Now, I mean, let's just look at this item progression, right? This Morphling is sitting with a Dragon Lance Morbid Mask, but Sven is sitting with Echo Saber Mask of Madness building into the Blink. So an insane amount of farm available on the Sven right now. Him showing up to that fight, you know, the difference between his effectiveness and HFN's effectiveness is night and day. Immediately HFN is on the retreat. Erstwhile now, like you mentioned, can just go clean up heroes one by one by one by one. Knowing full well that, wait a second, they built Blink Dagger on 40R, so once he's committed Blink RP, he's actually not scary at all. He's not useful in the fight. Tavo doesn't have anything as of yet, and because he doesn't have an armlet either, doesn't even dare go for a duel. Knows he'll lose it at that short range. The freest fight they could possibly imagine for G-Pride. And now they'll still be able to clean out this tower bottom. They've got the full positioning here. Kara didn't end up leaving. Tao's in the offing as well. Life just feels so nice.
You dodged it twice. Tavo dodged this one twice. It's night now?
No! No!
What happened?
Oh no, 40R. He blink RP and got time-lapsed before the RP hit. And Tavo,
they waited for him.
Yeah. They had the patience, they had the vision, they had the damage. And you were mentioning how Tavo needs to hug the tower to stay safe. Even hugging the tower can't keep you safe anymore. They get the kill onto him, eviscerate the tier 2. And now Outpost is ready. Pre-20 for them. Wow, everything is going perfectly here for the side of G-Pride. And almost nothing is working out for the Wolf team.
Oh, look at this. Now absolutely delivers. He is balling. He's got his damage items. And he says, I'm just buying a Blink Dagger because we are going to keep up this pressure. We're going to keep up this mobility. I want to be able to be in these fights. Love it.
I mean, you were talking about how he's a fighting carry more so than a farming one. And even though in this game, G Pride has gone in for this more farm-orientated style and they've given him as much space as he's needed, ultimately, this is going to be in service of him showing up to fights and getting active. And he'll be able to do so in very strong stead. He's about to crack 15 though, so they might choose to wait until he has that before deciding to really get going on the map. They've got the full Helm of the Overlord as well from Kara, so an Ancient now soon going to be available. We'll see which one it is for them. But no, they're not going to wait that long. They smoke up Tau, Dismar, as well as the now Sven. They want to try and find some targets. Tau will come across Duster and King RD. That's going to pop his smoke, but Sven and Dismar still have theirs going. They don't have the Morty's Kisses, but Sven is really strong.
There's a duel.
First duel of the game gonna come in from Tavo after this Blink Dagger revealed. And they get the victory, but now HFN doesn't have Lincoln Sphere. HFN's entitled. He's gonna lose his life. They came up with his BTs from Tau. They don't need him in the initial rotation because he can just show up out of nowhere. Supplies the zap, supplies the damage. They've gotten 1 kill. Will they find 2? Press the attack from Tavo. Prevents them from killing Duster. But they can do nothing more for Morphling. Yeah, sure, you killed Genek, but you end up losing your own life. Feels bad.
And you're losing most of the health on your bottom tower as well, while they're still cleaning up top. Kara has been pushing bottom. Wolf team is taking L's across the map right now.
You've ever seen that gif with that guy just like handing out L's? It's like L after L after L. That's what this game is like.
I have not,
right
but
now.
I'm seeing it.
Okay, so let's think about some good news for them, right? So they got dual damage, right? For Tavo.
Yeah.
It's something.
Good blink reveal.
Yeah. Great blink reveal, but
I don't understand why for the 3rd time in a row HFN thinks he can tank it. It hasn't worked out for you the previous 2 times. When's the shame on me part start? Earlier than that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Feeling very bad about that. I mean, initially they did get the kill. He felt like, well, nobody else is going to be behind this Weaver, right? But sadly, he was very wrong on that one. They're inside the Roshan pit, trying to at least sneak in Aegis. This is a very good turnaround mechanism for them. G-Pride have scouted this out with this young scan, so they know what's happening. They're not going to go for the fight. Instead, Kara would rather just take the tier 3 down bottom. So now we have an exposed lane of racks on this side of the map. We know for a fact that any given time that they take a fight away from the side of the map, suddenly racks are going to be in jeopardy. He's going to be more than willing to commit the full army on that side. And they try to force a small fight around this Roshan pit, but Wolf's team wisely decide to retreat. They don't get cocky just because they have an Aegis. They realize how much road they still have to travel before they can challenge G-Pride in any of these fights.
This Aegis is going to be a good tool though. HFN can only really get bursted once. That Laguna Blade always has his name on it. There's only one of those.
Yeah.
But right now they're actually coming for him. They find Duster first.
Does his job, reveals the smoke.
He didn't get up.
Goes up onto the high ground as they come in with this 40 RRP. But why would you do this? You're fighting into the double damage, Sven. Because he has that God Strength active. They end up losing the Aegis life, and HFN dives in, finds the kill initially out onto King RD, but will get storm hammered for his efforts. And now with the right clicks from Tau, it'll be more than enough for them to kill him. Winds up being a full team wipe. Wolf's team, they knew the fight was coming. They broke the smoke. Kips, they got cocky with the Aegis. They decided to take the fight, and they get destroyed and demolished for it. 4,000 damage almost coming in from the Sven in that one.
Absolutely brutal. They're crumbling. There's that felt. I don't even want to call it desperate because they're clearly counting on this Aegis, but their confidence is false, and it keeps on letting them down.
Yeah. That's another fight with 40R as well, committing the Blink RP. He's gonna skewer back onto Dismar, so at least they get alright, so
How tanky she is.
my gosh, that took a long time. That was almost a full dual duration. Tabo barely got that victory. It is a plus 20 damage. That's at least a little bit nice for the LC, but ultimately nothing is worth what you just suffered. Now is at this point 4k up on the Smurfling. Already has the full SMY. Satanic coming next, and 40R, I really feel like this Magnus, I think one of the reasons why they might have gone for that fight is that Magnus is feeling that he does not doing anything if he's not RPing. The build that he's gone for, not really being effective in the damage output department. So if he doesn't just go for these raw high ground blink RPs hoping to catch all the big targets, you ask yourself, why did we pick this mid Magnus and why did we build him in this way if we compare and contrast what he's giving us versus what this Lina is currently giving G-Pride?
Yep, you could have definitely rocked this Magnus as a damage dealer, you know, build into your Echo Saber first, go for your crits, get the Horn Toss ready eventually if you want to. But they built for action and were constantly on the receiving end instead.
That's the really scary thing about how all of this has been happening as well, is this bottom lane is still under constant jeopardy. They still have to always attend to somebody here. Lane pressures coming into their face. Now there's a big smoke attempt from G-Pride. If they can find a quick jump onto Tavo, they can open up the lane of Rax. Tavo does blink away from the Stormhammer, but they're not here for him. Oh, beautiful RP from 40R. Okay, multiple heroes caught inside it. Solar Guardian follows this up, but they don't have the damage. Who is here? HFN, they get the quick kill onto Tavo. Inside of they get the duel as well. Looking for this Lina. Time lapse though from Zhenek prevents Tao from dying in that fight. And instead they get the LSA back onto HFN. However, they don't really want to stick around anymore now that they've got the full racks on the melee. Taken away. Zhenek gets right-clicked out. He will end up losing his life. Duster very barely escapes this fight. They still want a little bit more from this. Dismark, when they get Curse Crown, they don't need the Curse Crown to get the kill. So we'll pick that up from Tavo. So that's 3 heroes that fall in this bottom lane. However, Wolf Team still end up losing a lane of racks. The melee is down at 22 minutes. You're feeling good about this on the side of G-Pride. You lose 3 heroes, but 2 of the heroes that matter in this game are still alive, so you still feel good.
Yeah, that was one of the better starts that Wolf Team could have had to a team. Finally, 3-man RP, everybody who matters in there. And with the time lapse from the Weaver coming in, Earn into straight Aghanim Scepter. I mean, we haven't really talked about him because he hasn't really been necessary. He has just been pushing sideways.
Yeah.
And now he turns up with the item that he got there.
I mean, how does this Weaver have Aghanim Scepter 23 minutes? How do you have Aghanim Scepter before Magnus has BKB? There's just a crazy amount of farm that's emerged here from Zhenek. Really has had an outstanding series on the support play here for his team. And in this game, that might have been, you know, in the universe where they end up losing that Lina, and they probably still lose the racks, but the game itself feels very different afterwards. But instead, he keeps it going, allows Tao to stay alive, keep this farm at a very high level. Kara though will get dueled in the top lane. Will the time lapse come in time? Yes, it will. And now Tavo's the one that's in danger suddenly, losing his life to the Morty's Kisses. Primal Roar flying out onto 40R, and they save the life of Kara so that they can take the life of 40R. 4 heroes gone in the blink of an eye. Who initiated on who, Kips? G-Pride take a fight yet again.
Oh, Wolf Team. It's just tragic, isn't it? This is not the split up passivity that lost them game 1. They certainly learned their lessons here, but they simply don't have the execution. And between all these lost fights, these wrong, misguided jumps, they have put themselves at such a disadvantage.
Another misguided fight indeed. And it's going to lose them another lane of racks. They take the melee up on top. Tao will clean it up so that they get the full set this time around. And now they are going to be working the tier 3 tower through this mid lane. Looking to get the full game for themselves. Looking to finish out the series. Now is so strong. And will they be able to make this hold happen? HFN takes over the Sven form right now. And they just don't really care. They're looking for the racks itself. Tao will pop the BKB to make that happen as well. And G-Pride will marshal their discipline together. They saw what happened in game number 1 where it almost came close to them losing because they weren't disciplined about the push. So now they focus on buildings. As soon as they get what they need, they get out, wait before they come back in. And with the 18k gold lead, tons of experience in their favor as well. How on earth does Wolf Team come back from this? Because they have the teamfight spells, but they just don't have the teamfight damage to follow it up.
They certainly don't. And this Sven, he only really backed off because God's Strength was on CD. And he's like, let's just not risk it. Now, level 20. If they had no damage before, with the +10 Warcry armor, Wolf team are in even more dire straits right now. And they're baiting out this Morphling on top, but I'm not sure that's gonna work. G-Pride are fairly uninterested, up until now.
All right, here they come. Now, will he get lucky enough to spot out HFN? It doesn't, but he does come across Tabo. They get the Stormhammer connection. Tabo, press the attack with the little bit of immunity. Morty's kisses are raining down, but they're not going to be enough to catch him. Does know, though, that unless he blinks away very, very soon, he's going to die after the Stormhammer hits. And sadly, the blink doesn't come up in time. That's a dead Tabo. No buyback for this LC. At the very least, though, HFN does get some kind of item. In game number 2, we saw that now kept things going for them by buying item after item at the very last second to give them a hope and a chance and a prayer. And this game gets the Aghanim Scepter, so we now have the Dag Willow Shadow Realm hits. HFN's got a little bit of cheese to try and extend this game as long as humanly possible.
Is it too little too late, though? Yeah, Granite Golem says yes.
Okay, can't save the Range Rax middle, and now we'll just go bottom. Warcry active, take away the Range Rax bottom, so that's full megas available. And their team is, in a word, atrocious at dealing with the mega creeps. They'll practically never be able to leave the base now. 40R has to be here all the time, giving him powers over to anybody. Nobody really built any wave clear, and he's the only one super effective at it, so this is now going to be a difficult portion of the game for the Wolf team. And it looks like they want to try and smoke up and force a fight or something, but they know that an Aegis is coming soon. And if that Aegis emerges and G-Pride get it, there's just no way that they can kill a Sven or even a Lina, for that fact, twice in these fights when they're struggling to do so even once.
I'd like to say 3 times because this Weaver has been perfectly nice on the backline of the fights with his Aghanim Scepter every single time. He's got a Blink Dagger now. He is not going to put himself in harm's way.
Oh god. I see the item that he has that explains why he's got so much gold for himself, as we just see Tao cleaning up Duster with the DD rune bottom. But Weaver got the Philosopher's Stone. Does manage to give it up now because it doesn't matter anymore, but a lot of this net worth has just come practically for free, whilst Wolf team haven't really been able to find the same effectiveness on their 2 supports. Now, what really sucks is that 40R, despite not being happy about the fact that he hasn't built into damage, the only hope it feels like they have of this game going anywhere for them is if they get that 3 hero RP he got down bottom. Doesn't feel like even that's going to be enough. You need like 4 or 5 heroes, all of them dragged in front of the Morphling, who waves through everybody. Shadow Realm hits on everybody. Tavo getting a all-hero overwhelming odds. But unfortunately, still got to deal with this triple life. Tao got the Aegis. Who did they give the shard to? They gave it to this Beastmaster for Kara. So now we'll also have access to this dive bomb from the Call of the Wild Hawk. It's been positioned perfectly every time. The additional stun is going to make a huge difference. Here we go, Kips. The last hold, the final smoke from G-Pride. Can Wolf team do it?
I'm gonna offer up Tao here. Do you want any of this?
Looks like everybody's allergic to Tao, but they take the offer. 40R with the drag back. They have the physical damage. No, they don't.
Lapsed.
Weaver with the time lapse. Genek just so good. And now here comes now. Press the attack. Will buy space for the Morphling, but they're beating down onto these buildings of the tier 4s. Morty's kisses have been committed though, as well as Laguna Blade. So Wolf's team still has a little bit of hope here. Waveform forward. Disma tanking damage from the Shadow Realm hits. He'll die to the Adaptive Strike. HFN will get pressed the attack as well from the Stormhammer. So they've gotten the 1 kill. 40 with the multi-hero RP, dragging them into the Solar Guardian. They've taken down the Beastmaster. Tao will end up losing the first life as well. Genek gets the save onto Now, who's enabled to go back and kill this Dark Willow. But still, this now makes Tao in a very precarious position, trying to run away, and they right-click through Tao. Even with BKB being active, Genek didn't have the time-lapse available, and they actually managed to find the kill. But G-Pride, they buy back on this Lina. They want to come back in for the finish.
Ready to finish this? There's no God Strength though. That's a bit ambitious.
Oof. There's no RP either though from 40 yard. That's one of the big spells that enables them to kill this Lina. Without it,
No Willow.
can they
So
hold?
no Willow form.
HFN doesn't have anybody to take over. We'll fight Jenik. They got the Weaver, but Weaver has time lapse, can come back very quickly into the fight. Tao, though, in a little bit of danger, trying to run himself away. Press the attack, will come out. They got the duel out onto the Sven. He's in a little bit of trouble.
Damage.
Now, he's
Titanic.
the Titanic standing his ground. Gets the turnaround. Will still stay standing. Takes down 40R without buyback. There's no Magnus in this game. They bought back on Tavo, but what can he really do here? HFN though, he stole the Magnus form, goes in with the skewer, but Jenik in again with the time lapse. That enables now to get the damage out. It's an ultra kill for Sven. HFN buys back, but he's just gonna give away the rampage. They don't even care about that. They care about the game. Gorillaz pride. They take game 3 in style, in emphatic fashion. Wolf's team tried their best. Multi-hero RPs, big Shadow Realm steals, as much as they could. They eked out every advantage possible, but Kips, ultimately, it just wasn't enough. And our way, there's no way forward for them. 3 losses, that's pretty much done and dusted for their Division 1 dreams. Their hopes are dead, but G-Pride, woof, definitely making a statement here with this particular series.
And with the way they choose to end it, when's the last time that you have seen a Sven without God strength win a man fight battle versus a Morphling?
A very long time since I've seen that. Honestly, I'm just shocked at how well Gorillaz Pride played this, but in particular, shout out Jenik. Those last 5 minutes, if this was any other support except for this Weaver, shockingly, we're probably still in this game, right? Wolf's team was actually holding. They were doing a really, really amazing job of keeping this game up for themselves. And multiple times, they found themselves on the key targets, almost able to get the necessary kills until time lapse. And then you think, okay, cool,
Until
we kill Jenik. Okay, he time lapse back into the fight and then still get another time lapse onto the target. Like, what are you supposed to do against this? Like, there's just no defense you could make. They did their best, Wolf team. They held as long as they could, but somehow it wasn't enough. Although I really want to say shout out to the team for being able to, you were talking after game 1, what do we do? Pick more team fight, try to pick more comfort, and they did that, right? Unfortunately, in game 3, it just fell apart. Unfortunately, due to the team dynamic, a lot of those fights that they started, it felt like there was miscommunication. Somebody would be like, go. One person goes. After that one person goes, the rest of the team realizes, wait a second, they're too far forward alone. We have to go back them up. If 40R catches 2-3 heroes in an RP, we don't have an option but to follow up on that, no matter if we have the damage to effectively do so or not.
Yeah, completely agreed with that. It was a bit of a catch-22. If they don't do anything to make space in this game, then the Morphling is never going to end up at the same farm level as the Sven. But with how active their itemization was, these double blink daggers, we were thinking, okay, the Magnus is going for a blink because he's going to leave the damage dealing over to Tavo. But then he goes for blink dagger as well, and then you're left thinking, like, where is the damage? It's just King RD at that point. And have we seen anything out of King RD this game?
No, we didn't, sadly. Honestly, the most effective time that we saw King RD being is just the fact that he's on Dark Willow after Aghanim's was picked up on Morphling to give over the Shadow Realm. But before that, we barely got to see any really good Bedlams. The Terrorizers weren't really on point. Hell, even the Bramble Mazes, half the time, Gorillaz Pride was just sidestepping through them. And by the time they did start catching some supports, the cores had BKBs anyway, and it doesn't really matter. So did feel like they were a little bit 4v5 in the situation. And you just, sometimes you see this Morphling Dark Willow, it takes a while before the Axe comes out and you're like, oh, this can be a good combo, but the hero still needs to be effective outside of the combo. It's not enough to just pick it for that one purpose, especially considering how effective the Snapfire and Weaver were on the other side for their team, and just too difficult of a game at the end of the day. And do you think that this was a situation where Wolf team, if they just drafted a little bit differently, was there a better chance, or did it really come down to the mismatch between both how they itemized and how they decided to play the game out at the same time?
That a different team could definitely have more success with this lineup. The miscommunication was pretty clear, but at the same time, it is also harder to get it done in this game where there's a lot of pressure on you to execute well every single time, and especially once this Weaver really starts coming into play, your shot calling has to be perfect, and there was no way our way was going to put that out this time around.
Unfortunately, perfection was not going to be their way, but for Gorillaz Pride is certainly still maintained for them as they have now gone 2-1 in the log. The leaderboard is looking very competitive towards the top there. There's a couple of teams that now are starting to sweat a little bit. Only 2 slots are available for promotion to Division 1. Very competitive scene here in South America. So now Gorillaz Pride can rest on their laurels, be happy with this win, and prepare for their next outing. Unfortunately, though, for Wolf Team, their way is done. Let's hope the team sticks together because, of course, the names on this roster, and we saw a lot of potential in this series, but there's issues that need to be worked out, but you can't do that by just chopping and changing the roster. Stick together and work on these things. But G-Pride, congratulations. And that is going to be that for the evening, though. We have concluded the series. It's only the one for tonight. So sad. But that does mean that this one series is a lot more special as a result. So as we now close it out, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure that you are following the Epulze Gaming channel here on Twitch. Follow on Twitter as well. And if you look right underneath us, you'll see those banners. You know, graphic designers did hard work to put those there. So make sure you go over on Twitter and follow us to reward them for their efforts in that regard. But with that, this has been Snare and Kips signing out. And Kips, as usual, we're going to give you the final word. What do you have to say to the folk before we close it out? Sadly, not just for the series, but for the journey to Division 1 for the side of Wolf Team.
I mean, for Wolf Team, it's really all about learning more from each other here, what everybody else on this team needs. And instead of going, well, everybody their own way. And look at this Gorillaz Pride and the attitude they bring to playing. I'd really like to see some more of that out of our way next.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That last word has been said. So we will see you later. We're done for the evening. Bye. We love you all. And join us next time for some more incredible lower division SA DPC action.